Hello there. So, sometime recently you've gotten the information or the suspicion or the concern that someone in your family, someone you love, is facing something that may be kind of serious from a mental illness or mental health or psychological perspective. And you know what I thought? I thought it would be great for us to take a look and have a conversation very quickly about what are the kind of first steps that need to be taken when something like this comes out. And so let me introduce myself. My name is Chris Legg. I'm an LPC supervisor and the owner of Aletheia Family Counseling Center here in Tyler, Texas, and around other places. I've been working with issues like these for about 25 years and thought it might help for you to know in this time, what are some next steps that you can take? It's easy to panic. It's easy to let fear take over. It's easy to let doubt kind of rule the day. And none of those are the best options. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some time and I'll record some more videos to be attached to this to connect to some of the specific things that we may face as parents, as spouses, as loved ones, and just a very quick look at what are some first steps before we react, before we overreact or underreact. What are some first steps we need to do? So, because some considerations, always a good idea is to listen and listen well. Listen to the professionals, listen to your friends, listen to the person who you're talking to, that loved one, that kid, that teenager. So listen well and don't panic. You're not the first person to face this. You're not the first family to face whatever this is. And so there's no reason to panic. There are ways to deal with all of these different things, and there are proven ways that really can help. And so we're just going to look at some of the very basic first steps with each of these different headings. Not going to have an hour of time here. You're not going to have to listen very long. But just to kind of stave off that initial sense of fear or frustration or anger or denial or the different things that we face there. So keep in mind, it's never necessary for a parent to help their child, for a loved one to help someone ruin their lives or destroy their lives. So that's going to be a guideline that as you're engaging with this, remember, it's okay to love people, even people who are hurt or people who are addicted or people who face these challenges. And it's okay to do so in a way that draws healthy boundaries. Primarily, I'm going to be talking to you as under the assumption that you're a Christian family who loves one another. And no one does that perfectly. Everyone messes that up, that you love your kids, you love your teenager, you love your spouse. And so as you're engaging with these questions, don't forget to pray. Don't forget to be still. And remember that there is a God. Things don't spin out of his control, even when they seem like they have spun out of control, and they certainly do spin out of our control all the time. So, and also I would encourage you, take some time, and this may take some time, to evaluate your family system. Are there stressors that can be reduced? Are there patterns or habits or things like that going on that it'd be a good idea to really stop and get some help and dig into, not just with the individual who is presenting with these issues, but in fact, the whole family system to look at it. Normally, we're a product of the whole system. Where are we engaging in these different things, and how are we engaging with them? And then we're going to look at some next steps, how to get help, how to find the right kind of help, medical help, counseling help, community help, and to reach out to those who are around us. So, with that being said, I'm going to start jumping into some of the different headings. And you probably clicked on that heading to get this introduction and then the part that's going to follow. And I hope these things are helpful for you. So here we go. Okay, so the issue or the concern that you've got that you clicked on is in regards to cutting behavior or self-harming behavior. Man, of all the different things that parents find out are going on with their kids, this one has got to be one of the scariest ones. It just seems so almost otherworldly to us if it's not something that we understand or that we've engaged in. It creates a lot of sense of confusion, even a sense of betrayal, as if our teenager or our loved one didn't come to us when they could have and we feel like they should have. And that's really tough. It certainly is. I'm going to encourage you to try to deal with those emotions of betrayal or hurt, and especially the panic and the fear that you may have in a way that's not going to create panic or fear for the person with those issues. Usually they're already dealing with issues of control and guilt and fear and emotion, depression. In fact, most commonly what they'll describe is a sense of numbness And very often that comes from stressors and weight and burdens that they're already bearing. And cutting is one of the tools that they've discovered somewhere along the way to try to help them feel something or to feel better. And I know that seems, if that's not something you're ever caught up in, I know that seems to make no sense, but it does. So again, here's what you want to do. You want to listen. First things first, listen, understand, ask questions, open-ended questions. Ask about their stressors. Hear what's going on with them. Let them know that you're a safe place and a stable place. That this doesn't overwhelm you. It doesn't shock you. It doesn't terrify you. It's almost always not going to be the right option to jump out with some kind of punishment or control. There may be boundaries that need to be drawn. There may be friends who there need to be boundaries around, because sometimes this behavior is learned from certain friends. But you want to move into that part of it slowly. That being said, engaging with issues of cutting and self-harm have to be taken seriously. It's not the same thing as suicidal thoughts, but it can be strongly connected. And it certainly can accidentally lead to that kind of thing. And so certainly drawing some boundaries around what items they're allowed to have is going to be a part of this, what they are using to harm themselves. But again, you want to cooperate, you want to work alongside a professional. So talking to a professional therapist, maybe a doctor. Some doctors are pretty aware of this, a psychiatrist, but a great place to start is with a private practice therapist, with a counselor who can talk through these issues. Most of us are trained or aware of these issues, and if not, you can, again, do some research online through Psychology Today or Focus on the Family or other places to try to find a local therapist near you, or maybe one online if that's the best option. But cutting is usually strongly linked to anxiety, just linked to depression, linked to a sense of burdens and numbness, and it is often rewarded by a negative sense within the community. And so it's a very complex thing to engage in. It's not something that's easy. It's probably not likely just going to go away. Very often there's a whole system feel to this. There's a school aspect to it. There's a family aspect to it. And a lot of times all these different areas are going to need to be engaged with. So I know that it's scary to you, and I know that you're tempted to panic. Let me encourage you, don't. Let not your heart be troubled. People have made it through this. Lots of families have faced this and have come out on the other side. I've seen plenty do well with this. Sometimes they come out on the other side closer and more strongly bonded than ever. So I really, really let me encourage you. Don't panic. Listen. Don't overreact. But at the same time, you don't want to underreact, meaning you don't want to go into denial. If they say, well, I've just done it once or twice, it's not a big deal, you're going to have to go ahead and seek a professional anyway. Often people who cut minimize their own cutting. And so it's not safe to just assume that what they're telling you is an accurate representation of what's going on with them. So really, let me encourage you. Don't panic. Listen, seek professional help for the person, for your child, and maybe your whole family to figure out, are there patterns, are there system issues that you need some help with? All right, so I don't mean to go long. I just want to give you a little bit of hope and the opportunity to know what your next steps are going to be. So reach out and get that help. Gather the community around you to encourage you as well. And I hope this is able to take the edge a little bit off of the initial sense of panic and fear and just honestly strangeness that comes with the issue of cutting for most of us. That doesn't make sense to us. All right, so hopefully that's helpful, and it'll help get you started on the right foot. And if you need anything more, you can reach out to us at aletheacounseling.com. All right, hope that helps. Thank you very much.